Okay. Yeah, I couldn't believe how many of the songs I remembered and like how many lyrics I remembered.
I mean, to be fair, 4 of the songs are the same song.
Look, right. Yeah, it's funny, man. Like, it's just, I don't know. I didn't expect to feel so nostalgic towards it.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I've seen it, but obviously, apart from Tuesday. But
I liked it so much that I'm putting it on the spreadsheet now, and I accidentally put it down as one of my own picks.
yeah, so I remember being grumpy when the Tim Burton one came out, being like, it was already perfect.
But wait, this wasn't it was different though.
I think it's like, I don't know. I think the Tim Burton one. If you could transport the Tim Burton visuals onto this one, that'd be really nice. But otherwise, I fucking love it.
Yeah, I just think the story's a bit stronger than the Tim Burton one.
Oh
I think
yeah, the story's fucked. That's fair.
I prefer to put Gene Wilder in the Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
He'd be a lot more subtle than Johnny Depp.
Oh, honestly, I love both versions, but it's kind of like a mix and match kind of thing. Like I love elements of both for different reasons in different ways. And so that's why I think it's a good remake, and this is a good classic film because it's kind of like they're both really great adaptations of the book, but each one does something slightly askew. But that's what makes them like they're so distinct, a bit so similar, and that's why I just appreciate it, and I just love the Roald Dahl story, and then obviously he's one of my childhood favorite authors, and this is one of my old favorites too, as someone will say. He will say.
I believe it's Simon who will say.
He's known to in the past. But yeah, it's just got this like thing it's been there since we were kids, and it came out in 1971 or something, and it's somehow been in our subconscious for all this time growing up. It's always been on TV. It's always been in the ether, you might say.
People still reference it now. If you see like a very tanned Essex lady, you start going, "Oh, look."
Yeah.
Oh man,
that was one joke that didn't age very well. Was when was it Veronica's dad's like, I've never seen an orange face in my life.
Don't forget all of that
Essex, my friend.
in Futurama when they got the Trumpalumpas.
Hey, I got a bit of a side note, but I got my bottle opener to work first time. It's working. It's working.
Another bottle opener for you.
Do you know the bit with the Oompa Loompas when they're singing and the lyrics are coming up on the screen?
Yes.
I was like, holy fuck, they actually did that. I thought that was just a meme all these years.
Yeah, and I mean, nowadays it seems like, oh, they must have done a music video later or something, and it actually was in the film of the time, and that's really you don't often see that.
Yeah,
I thought that was so funny, man.
Version.
I haven't actually looked at the score sheet.
They're all doing gang signs at a camera going,
Saying what
I don't like the look of it.
Someone was talking about the Tim Burton one and Johnny Depp's performance. Like, it's not ironically, but interestingly enough, Gene Wilder liked Johnny Depp's performance. He just
really?
didn't like the movie. He thought
it's the complete opposite for me.
It's very surprising, but that's cool. Wilder to say it like it is.
You wouldn't think Gene Wilder would have the wrong take, but there it is.
Oh,
he's a very wild man.
I think it's an all right film, but I really hate Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka because he's just like it just creeps me out, man. Like,
and I know like Michael Jackson thing or what?
Well, this is the thing, like, so like obviously in the original, like, there's bits where the characters are creeped out by him, but I never feel uneasy about him. Whereas in Tim Burton's one, I just spend the whole time thinking like, I don't know. Somebody check this guy's hard drive. I don't like it.
I think. Oh, carry on.
Oh, I was going to say that not just Johnny Depp, but my mum and dad actually mentioned that he's actually a bit more like Liberace as well. He's got this weird, like, a camp eccentricity that's different kind of camp than Gene does, but it's just kind of like this weird, like, you don't really know his sexuality or his gender. He's just kind of himself being him, and that's which might be what Roald Dahl was going for. So it's actually quite interesting to see like what Roald Dahl would consider more faithful, because I'd like to figure that out.
Yeah. Holy shit, Emmanuel! I didn't expect you to like it this much.
It's a great movie. I really don't think much could have been done to make it better. Like things could have been done, but I thought it was really well done as it was, and quite a kind of balanced take on it and how they did it. Like, it's quite funny when you guys were saying about the people found, like, you're talking about the cast finding Gene Wilder creepy. Or, and I didn't realize until like reading up on the film how the director would hide a lot of stuff from the other actors. So like the scene that I wonder if it'll be my favorite, but this, especially the scene where they're going through the tunnel and he just starts singing, and it was just like, is he okay? Is he actually having a mental breakdown?
Yeah, to be fair,
adore that scene when they're just kind of like, stop the boat.
Stop the boat.
I have stopped already, and he's just like, all right, see you later.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes I'll talk about later. It's so unnerving and brilliant.
That's such a brilliant scene.
I have like a clear favorite scene for the first time in like a year today.
Nice.
Where's Willy Wonka?
Fucking hell. Really bent over backwards for that one. Oh, Rob. Clink.
Clink. What are you drinking? Is it Birra Moretti?
It is a Birra Moretti.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Amsterdam's finest.
I've got Erdinger.
Okay, 1, 2.
Clink. If you are wise, then you'll go far. I've been singing like the Oompa Loompa song all day, but I don't actually know what the words are, so I've just been making.
You heard it 4 times in one film.
You can make up.
Well,
that works.
Runka, lunka, secret ingredient. Stop.
One scene which like, oh yeah, I don't know, like it's such a little throwaway thing, but I thought it was so funny. It's a bit when they're on the boat, and I think it's is it Veronica, the American one? Violet, sorry, yeah, Violet. Violet's dad says to Veruca's. Violet's dad goes.
Veronica.
Violet's dad goes to Veruca's dad. What sort of business are you in? And he says nuts. And then Violet's dad's just like, all right.
That's great. The parent interaction is some of the best bits.
Yeah.
That was like at the County Arms with Cliff. I was like, oh, what do you write about? Banks. Oh, all right.
But it's like what you said earlier about it being like proper Simpsons humor. It's like the bits where like they're like when the Wonka go and take this guy out into the world, and you get all these news reports of all the people across the world going nuts about it, and you just cut to that woman who's got that hostage, and it's like, you have to give my husband back. I want to see Howard back, and it's like, oh, you have to give up your Wonka supply of Wonka bars, and so she just pauses and is like, this is your husband's life at stake. Like, I need to think it over.
That's fucking lifted from The Simpsons, man. There's a but my favorite scene, which I'll talk about when Simon gets here, is like it's just like the reason I love it so much is because you can like if you animated it, you would believe it was part of The Simpsons. Like,
Yeah, a lot of it could. I think that's if they ever did another remake of God knows they probably will. But if they did do it animated, because it would probably just work even better and just make it just everything about it works well and just this weird fantasy setting.
you know, another bit which I thought was like brilliant Simpsons humor was when the door gets really tiny and he does the musical lock and the boy's mum is like, oh, Rachmaninoff. Oh, it's brilliant, man.
It's such it's a weird curio from the 70s because you won't get musicals that like absurd that at that time. As in the same way this is. I think the only film I can compare it to that I also really like is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang because it's got this
really
weird wacky sensibility of like fantasy just going off the rails. And
that sounded like you said really weird, which
it's really
I heard Willy weird.
Yeah, really weird Wonka. Yeah, but it's just got this like a living live action cartoon thing, which is why I like the Tim Burton style and why he did his version well and his films in general because it has this weird like live action cartoon thing about it. And this film before that kind of did it first in a way.
I think that's the thing, like, because yeah, that whole thing of like, oh, everyone in the world gives a shit about visiting this factory. Like, it's such an absurd thing. So I love that they just went, we really need to lean into this. Everyone has to fucking love it. Like, there's not a person on this world who doesn't love the idea of going to this factory. Nobody's lactose intolerant. They all just want to see the insides of this factory. But that's the thing, like with the Tim Burton one, the unveiling of the factory is so much more grand. Like this is just like a residential street with a chimney sticking out of it.
That's what interesting is the thing about the original is that I think I can't remember what country it was filmed in, but it's in a European province. And you can really tell, even if everyone's speaking in English and Charlie's teachers as English as they come and all that, it's like everything about it, you can tell if you look closely enough, everyone's kind of dubbed that doesn't have a major role. And they obviously were European speaking, all European extras and European people in this country. And it's kind of like this, the architecture of the houses, especially when you see in the long shots when they go up into the sky. You can say, oh, yeah, this is definitely not England. But it's got this weird, like, this unusual style to it. It makes it very fantasy because it isn't like somewhere from home. It's a bit different than that. It's a bit somewhere fantastical.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, like it kind of just on like a Sean Connery level, it does bother me that Charlie and his family are American, and
Yeah,
everyone around them is very British. But
yeah, that's weird as well because
it
you've
does
got
just go for that like pan global thing, though, doesn't it? Like it's just unless you're like said to be from Germany or Paraguay, then you could be from anywhere.
yeah.
You know, this was actually Charlie's only acting credit.
Yeah, he turned out to be a vet, didn't he?
I don't know what he turned out to be, but I heard he just went around doing talks in school, just like just kind of saying about what it was like to be like an actor.
Oh, that's kind of sad, isn't it?
I do get the impression it was kind of like a cautionary tale, just like it's not what it's cracked up to be.
Gene Wilder makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, and that's about it.
Gene Wilder screamed in my face. Actually,
I mean,
it's so funny though, because like I was saying last week that for ages this was the only thing that I knew Gene Wilder from. Like while I was watching it this time, I was like, no wonder was like a bit wary of him. Like it's just on like a subconscious level, because I don't think I realized like how big a comedian he was, and so like watching other stuff that he was in later on in life, I was always a bit like, no, I don't know about him. And I think it's just growing up with this film and like having it sort of, I don't know, pushed into your brain that he's somebody to be wary of.
yeah. Were you saying, Emmanuel?
There were like a few interesting things from what you guys said. So like with Ben, I'm not sure if it came through, but I was saying it was shot in West Germany, Bavaria. I only said Bavaria. Yeah, West Germany, Bavaria. So yeah, that makes very much sense. The opening shot was done in a Toblerone factory in Switzerland.
Oh wow.
So another again in Europe, kind of, well, definitely like not here. And then with the kind of actor who played the kid, Charlie, he at first they wanted him to do like sign up for a 3-film contract. I guess different stuff, and he was just like, "Nah, I just want to do the one film to see what it's like." But as we see, I guess he wasn't that into it, and he found it kind of underwhelming. Wasn't really what he was looking for, so he didn't do any more acting. He did audition, I think, for some stage show or something many years later, but
The Dave Show.
a stage show
Oh.
many years later. Uh, I don't think he got the audition for that. But one thing I found interesting was that when Gene Wilder died, he changed his social media handle kind of thing from like um, ex-childhood ex-child actor veterinarian to inherited this Willy Wonka chocolate factory
No.
and like the date that he died, which is cool. I thought a nice nod.
Yeah, that is nice.
Where do you think the other two are?
Simon says he's in Barking, or he is Barking. No, he's in Barking. And Pat says that his laptop's slow, which I think means he's having a poo.
Just use your phone.
Yeah, I don't know why Pat's
Your
against.
phone.
I don't know why he's against using his phone. It's the best iPhone on the market. Doesn't use it.
Yeah, but which iPhone does he have?
The one that came out before the new one. It's
Oh,
almost. Yeah.
Man, he is better than me.
Traitors.
No, we're like 3 against 1. No, we're 5 against 1 because Pat and Simon also have iPhones.
Yeah. Fuck off.
To be honest, it matches you to have an Android.
And yeah.
What are you trying to say? Androids are shit and non-functional.
Just very what's the word?
Problematic.
I was gonna say angsty against the world. Like critical of many things. So it makes sense you wouldn't want to be part of part of helping an organization you really have no liking for and don't like what they be doing.
Yeah.
You're more about the open source of it all.
To be honest, that's what puts me off of Android. Like, I like my iPhone because I can just turn it on and it knows what it's doing. I don't have to worry too much about it. I don't have to supervise it. It just gets on with it.
I remember at uni when you had an iPhone and you used to scratch the Apple logo off.
I still would if I wasn't scared of the back shattering now.
Bunch of.
To be fair, wasn't it a few years ago you had like an old Nokia phone, Alec?
Yeah.
It was I
took it to a beer festival and I went, Nokias are indestructible, watch this. And I dropped it in my pint because I was quite drunk at the time. They're not indestructible. If you drop them in a glass of beer, they will die.
Oh, no.
I remember the other phone that you accidentally broke on purpose.
Oh yeah, I chucked that at a tree so Sophie would stop calling me.
Yeah.
And then that other Nokia phone that I think that homeless guy stole at the train station when Amy and Graham came down. For a lot of phones.
R.I.P. to your pack phones.
Yeah. They are many. This one's doing alright though. This non-Apple fucking dickhead one.
Oh, what do you have now?
I got this one.
So,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
oh, is that?
It's something.
Because I missed the first part of it. I was like, I probably would recognize it from the back, to be honest.
It's a Samsung.
Okay, I did just briefly see a thingy. Is it one of the A models or the S models?
It's a black one.
It's probably one of the A models. Basically, they have like some of the more affordable ones, and then they have like the flagship ones with all the like spec kitted out kind of thing.
It's an A model. A stands for Android.
Why not?
Galaxy A23. There you go.
I was right. Nice. I'm gonna hold back on talking more about phones in particular, phones and tech. I could probably go on for a very long time.
Well, Simon and Pat aren't here, so.
Well, this is
the first time in film club we'd like talk about the film before anyone else gets in. And they get in and just be like, "Oh, hey, Si. Well, we've done all of it."
I just realised. Did you, Emmanuel? You said that this was filmed in Bavaria, right?
something like that.
My beer is from Bavaria.
Oh,
My beer
nice.
is from Bavaria.
This call is sponsored by.
We've got a German beer, a Dutch beer, and an Italian beer to celebrate the pan-global nature of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yay!
Hooray!
I think another interesting thing about the Bavaria thing, I say interesting, it's not really that surprising, but I heard that the main reason it was filmed there was because it was much cheaper than filming in the United States.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's still the case, to be fair. That's why like Fast and Furious 10 was filmed in Vienna.
Ah,
They got a big tax break for it.
that it's tax break. I was in Vienna. I mean, it's very nice and picturesque. I didn't realize it was cheaper, and then yeah, tax. Okay.
I think it's like a limited thing though, because like I don't think it's a coincidence that Fast and Furious and Mission Impossible both went there in the same year.
On a side note about phones and random stuff, two things that happened recently that I found kind of funny. So, does anyone know Casetify or Dbrand?
Oh yeah, I know Casetify.
Okay. Does anyone know about the lawsuit they're going through right now?
No, but I'm not surprised that they're going through one.
Long story short, they got caught ripping off not one but two companies for the product. So Dbrand do a thing called like Inside Out, where they scan the inside of the phone and then you can see the innards basically on the case or skin, and then they kind of pretty it up and put some more colors in it and put like little Easter eggs and stuff that relate to their own company or stuff. So whoever, whether it's an intern or not at Casetify, they copy pasted into Photoshop, changed some things, but didn't change everything.
Oh no.
And left He said, yeah. And then D Brown was just like, "What the crap? Why are you copying us?" Like before,
Oh man.
they copied them, they only used like the one internals of like some random older iPhone for like everything, even if it was a Samsung case. Them changing, and then they was like, "Oh, we're the bastions of original creativity on Twitter. Like, we're looking into this and investigating into this." And then I fixed it. Um, does anyone know I fixed it?
No.
They're kind of like iSmash, but much more popular. They give like fixing kits so you can fix your own phone, computers, DSs, whatever it is. And they work with different companies to be able to get those specialized tools. But they also make some like cases and skins. And they do an X-ray one. And Casetify copied that too.
Oh man. I'm just looking at the inside out cases. It's so bad. Because like if you look at the Casetify ones, so they photoshopped a bit of the battery out, which is like a genuine part of the battery on the D brand one, and they've replaced it with their own QR code, but they've left like a label next to it, which was a D brand Easter egg. That's so stupid.
Yeah. Like, what? Really? Really? Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's a funny one. Another thing, interestingly, so it doesn't really happen here because we have WhatsApp, and more people are flexible to use WhatsApp if, it's just another messaging thing. In America, you still have the dumb green bubble, blue bubble thing where do you guys know about that kind of thing in America?
Yeah.
No, what do you mean? Maybe I do. Maybe you just need to.
So basically, there's two main things. If you have an Android, you get left out of a lot of group chats.
Good.
Two, that's actually three things. Two, around about 80% of teenagers own an iPhone in America. So it's got like 15% of the market, even above teenagers. So it's got the majority of the market in America. And another kind of annoying, ignorant thing, you have a lot of people, or women specifically, I'm not cussing anyone, this is just a fact, please don't, who won't date they don't have an iPhone.
Oh,
Um,
those gold diggers, you might say.
yeah. I'll just finish up this fact. But basically, what was I gonna say? Nothing, an Android phone. I think you would quite like Nothing, Alec, and their kind of ethos and stuff. But anyway,
Alec doesn't like nothing.
actually, Alec probably wouldn't care about that. Anyway, let me carry on. Um, they partner up with a company, Sunbird, to get it to where if someone gets the new like Nothing 2 phone, they could send iMessages through the Android phone.
Oh wow.
They will appear as a blue bubble and not be left out in these chats, etc., etc. But a lot of people in the tech industry was just like, that is so dodgy. Why would they do that? Because security wise, to do that, make that happen, if you're not doing it on your own computer, you're basically sending your Apple credentials and login stuff to some random company, to whatever random server that they're going to be logging in using your account on some server, computer farm, whatever, regardless whether it's in this country or another country. And obviously, if they really wanted to, they could do anything with that.
To be fair, though, I think America is quite like backwards in general with like data protection and stuff. Because like there's so many like I think it started with Trump to be honest, but they used to be behind I think it was called like the privacy wall or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically meant that like their data protection laws were compliant with ours. But then Trump just went, nah, fuck it. and now they've started doing their own stuff. And the result is that they don't really give a shit about data protection, and because of that, I don't think Americans in general do.
That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I agree with you. What I would say about this, finish it off. So Carl Pei, he headquarters this all in and after he was saying announced it and whatnot, eventually all the kind of security folks around the world was like, this is not right, and all filed like complaints and stuff to like the official people and agencies, and they just like, hey, I don't think you can do this. And basically went from being a viable app on its own to not knowing if they're going to keep existing, because they said, we've realized you're doing stuff a bit too dodgy. We don't like how you're doing stuff, so you need to stop.
That's mad.
But anyway, that's the whole thing. But yeah, sorry, we were trying not to talk too much about the film, Simon, because we were getting into some interesting conversations.
Yeah, Simon Wong, aka Willy Wonka. I had to repeat that for Simon's benefit. I already made it.
Are you right, Simon? You look knackered.
Yeah, I am tired.
He travelled faster than Pat's laptop.
I was about to say, where is so? I mean, I knew I came in like late in like the call and stuff, and you guys have been recording already, I guess.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, like I just knew I had the trains were fucking horrendous, to be honest. But that's me. But I'm still earlier than Pat, and I'm like, what? But in any case, so let's introduce this then. So,
Simon, why did you pick this fucking masterpiece?
I picked it mainly because I wanted to do a musical, because we didn't do a musical yet, and I was thinking, what's a musical that generally everyone likes? I was like, oh wait, this is a musical everyone likes. Everyone would like it. Heck, even Pat would like this. Initially, what I thought, but I guess, yeah. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to choose a musical number for like this year. I would have chosen it like earlier, a few picks, but I had a double bill to do. So I was like, yeah, I'll just do it now for Christmas, because it's fine enough. It's gonna bring out the new Willy Wonka, which I have questions about in itself. But yeah, that's why I picked this film. I chose it because it's a musical that generally most people like, and we can discuss this compared to the Johnny Depp one. The
fucking Johnny Depp one.
To be
well,
fair, I think we do genuinely all like it, apart from Pat. So
I don't know why Pat doesn't, to be fair.
I think
we'll never know.
Well, I mean, has he watched the Johnny Depp one? I guess
he seems quite vitriolic towards the Johnny Depp one.
He hates it like Alec would hate most things.
Interesting.
He hates it like Alec hates ___.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, insert X here.
Because it's interesting, because watching this film, comparing it to the Johnny Depp one, it's interesting because the Johnny Depp one is technically more book accurate, and this one is obviously, well, it's not, because like, you know, there's a lot of like things that they've changed for the movies, but because of like the way that it's made in early 70s, I feel like it's suitable for that time period.
I think, to be honest, like, so I think the Tim Burton one looks a lot better. Like, so I think there's obviously an element of, you know, you have to like buy into how magical everything is, and I think that there is a lot of that in the Mel Stewart one, because, you know, obviously you got like the chocolate river and all of that kind of stuff. Like it does look, and to be fair, like even though even though you can sort of like see the seams, like when they're like, oh, we're never going to get through a door that tiny, and then it opens up on the other side and it's huge, and like that kind of thing. You can see the seams of like where they've tried to edit it to make it look more magical than it is, and like they've worked well with what they have. But there are also points where you can see that Willy Wonka's kicking a balloon that's not supposed to be a balloon, and other stuff like that. Whereas Tim Burton obviously has like a much bigger budget and more advanced special effects and all of that stuff behind him. So I think, yeah, like visually, it's so much more magical, and especially like the exterior of the factory itself. But I don't know, man. Like I can't get on with Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka.
Yeah, no, he irritated me throughout. He just loses all brain power, and it's just like someone goes, like seeing a parent, or someone says parent, or someone thinks parent near him. He just goes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm having a flashback.
Did you purposely do that with a Michael Jackson accent?
Yeah.
It's just like, guys, this is too subtle for me. I can't quite work out what's happening here. Can't quite predict where we're headed.
Yeah.
And
I think that's
the thing with Gene Wilder here.
Yeah.
Like he's a lot more enigmatic, and I think that was the angle they should have gone with. Sorry, Ben.
Oh, I was going to just echo what you were saying in the sense like he's more dynamic as well, Gene Wilder, because one minute he's kind of like this lovable, eccentric clown, and then the next minute he's quite unhinged and a bit sinister, and he has this underlining kind of like really weird what's the word to put it? Just he's like a storm brewing inside him, and he could just like snap at any moment, and which he does a few times in the movie. And then he suddenly goes completely opposite, like a clownish kind of like buffoon. But he's also got this weird, quirky kind of like hippie-ish kind of like outlook on everything as well. He's very laid back and very zen, and then he suddenly just flips, and that's why he's so interesting, and that's why he's more. He's not only nuanced, but more. You kind of like more like drawn to him because he's. You can imagine this is a chocolatier who's been locked up in this place doing his own thing. This is what this guy would imagine. That all these crazy chocolate things coming up with all sorts of crazy ideas. This is the guy that would dream it up. Like you can kind of like. You can understand that this is the guy that would do those things. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because like when you describe it like that, it sounds like the kind of film that Tim Burton should make.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird, and this is.
I'm not sure that's what the
take that Johnny did with it, and Tim Burton was okay with it. Kind of like it's that, but it's not nowhere near as good as what Wilder was doing. No. It's a bit too kind of like going too far. He's a bit too unnerving and a bit too weird.
One of the conditions that Wilder had to do it was he's actually responsible for the scene where he goes up with a walking stick and he's like limping.
Oh yeah.
In the not the paving slab, and then he does like the big roll and jumps up and stuff. And he was like, if this isn't something I'm allowed to do, then I'm walking.
Literally.
I'm just like, what? They were just like, why is this so important? And he's like, because if I do that, then throughout the film, no one's going to know if I'm lying or not. And I was like, that's such a good thing with Willy Wonka and in this, and it's just like the whole stuff with like the contract and that. You can tell he is just internally just laughing his arse off at these people, and they're all going like, take it as an indemnity clause, and he's like, oh, never between friends. And it's just like little bollocks like that. Like you can just tell he's just going like, you fucking idiot.
He's like, oh, I hope the suspense will last. And it's like, help, police, murder.
Oh, hey, stop.
That line.
I fucking love Augustus. I think like he's another one where like every time he popped up, I'm like, there's no way that what's his name from The Simpsons wasn't based on him. Oh shit!
Oh,
What's
you
his
mean
name?
Uta?
Uta, yeah.
Oh, don't make me run! I'm full of chocolate.
And by the way, that seeing as we're talking about Augustus, I've got to get it out because this is the first time in a long time that I've been like 100% sure on my favourite scene, and it's the introduction to Augustus because I was in fucking tears, man, when Augustus is like, it's gonna cost him a fortune in fudge, and then they give his dad the microphone and he just bites it.
I was gonna bring that up earlier. That had me creasing up. Just
It is
yes,
said
you,
on the line.
Mr. Glue.
Just continue.
Oh, I was crying, man. Like I was I couldn't stop laughing, and then Rachel was like, "Is this supposed to be a comedy?"
I mean, yeah, it's I guess.
Oh, I thought it was brilliant, man. And there's so many bits like that. I was saying earlier, Simon, that like there's so many bits where like all you need to do is animate it, and it's just seamlessly in with The Simpsons. Like I fucking love it, man.
I was gonna say, I feel like this is a lot more eccentric version of what the book initially was, because from what I remember, the book was a lot more, let's say, darker and has a more like creepier tones behind it. But we can get into that later, I guess. But it's just a question of like, who else needs to do an introduction? Because I was about to say, I feel like I saw Pat, but he's gone again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like we're all kind of like in agreement for once. Like, this is a really charming, nostalgic family favorite.
Yeah. And I didn't expect to get as much nostalgia from it as I did, because I remember watching it as a kid, and like I always have like the memory of my dad, like when Grandpa Joe gets out of bed, I always have a memory of my dad going, "That lazy bastard," and
Yeah.
like there's all these like things from my childhood that I associate with it, but I didn't expect to get as nostalgic as I did watching it, and I didn't expect to have as good a time watching it because I don't know, like there's a lot of things that you love when you're a kid that you go back and watch as an adult, and you're like, yeah, this isn't anywhere near as great as I thought it was. But this, I was crying at all of the jokes, man. I fucking loved it.
I was so worried that you're gonna be like, this is the same feelings as the Goonies. I just kind of just felt bad about it, and I was like, oh, Rob. I was like, oh no. I feel like looking at like the scores, I think I am quite happy with that. Yeah, this is a very good. I didn't expect everyone to enjoy it as much as they did. I was like, oh yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Pretty much the only thing I could take away from it is that like there's so much of the story that just doesn't make sense. But I
Yeah.
kind of like on balance, it made me laugh so much that I was like, I'll give it a pass.
There was stuff like I feel like the Willy Wonka in this is sort of like he's a bit of a Beelzebub, and like he has like a degree of future sight. Because I was going like, oh, lucky fucking picked up the money on the same, well, like the day before the thing was meant to like open up and everything, and then I was like, but is the point that he knew that he'd get the ticket the day before the 1st of October? And then you kind of look at all the vehicles, and all the vehicles have the precise number of seats for the amount of guests they have. Like there's no seat for the Gloops, the Gloop family on the boat, and there's no seats for the 3 families before the TVs get on it. And I'm just like, I think he kind of there's something. It's something that I don't think is supposed to have an answer or would like enhance the film at all to have like give an answer. Like he seems to have a degree of like future sight on this, but like I thought it was really nice like watching it, because I kept going like, hey, hang on a minute, how does Slugworth know to be in the same place every single time? Like how he's like right up everyone's arse. Like how the fuck is he doing this? And then I was like, Oh, he's hired by Willy Wonka, who has the future sight sort of thing. So that's how he knows to keep being in places that he's supposed to be going. So like, I was going from like I'm hitting like a 7 for this, and then I was like, oh, it's back up to a 9. Like I just.
That whole thing with Slugworth really made me laugh, by the way, because like when he meets Charlie and he was like, "Oh, I'm this person and I need the everlasting Gobstopper." I thought it was really funny to like go back and think about all the other interactions that he has, because he's basically just going up to loads of kids and being like, "Listen, if you see this everlasting Gobstopper," and I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah, not one of them tells him to get bent.
Yeah, even in the Burton one, they actually acknowledge that, and it's like, wait, hang on a second. That was all really well rehearsed. How did the Oompa Loompas know what was going to happen to Augustus? It's like that's just ad-libbing, blah blah blah. It's just you just got to accept it. And it's kind of like Alex says, it's like everything is all predetermined, preordained kind of thing, and it's got this like you think was supposed to go the way it was because just the kids themselves kind of dictated that themselves to a extent. And I do love them all kind of like what was in the original story as well, of course, but that it's kind of like a cautionary tale of like not only the 7 deadly sins and things of being, it's trying to be like a morality thing, and it's morality clause like
it seems to be something I could see myself writing as an old man. I'm just kind of going like, you know what, kids fucking suck.
yeah.
A story.
Roald Dahl did that. He was great at doing it.
Story about kids who've irritated me, and then make them just die in horribly creative ways.
Oh, yeah, that'll be Alec is a Roald Dahl just in his shed writing children's stories that stand the test of time. Just being like, yeah, I'm 70 years old. I hate everyone.
Admittedly speaking, none of them did die. His editor definitely said, "No, you can't actually kill the kids. Yeah. We can't allow you to do that. You have to he's actually technically he's rewritten it twice, so it's like, yeah, no killing of the kids. You're still a children's author."
And to be fair, it probably was in the contract as well. The contract, that's what's so good about that contract scene, is everything he does kind of like is all like there in black and white. He's like, no matter what happens, you signed your life away, and you've signed the risks that will happen and going into my chocolate factory. So don't blame me.
That's why everyone who is like doing weird conspiracy theories is like, is he just like Satan? And he's like, he just does evil things to do it because. Well, like I remember before I chose this film, I remember reading like a long time ago. That's like, so is Willy Wonka like using the children as ingredients for his chocolate factory, and he's just like Satan, and that's how he does it? And it's like, no, but that's an interesting idea because it'll be like, oh, because he just uses children as ingredients, and that's why his candy is so delicious. It's like, that's not really what that's not right, but like good idea. But so I was like, it helps because like everyone's watched this film and just seen the mythos around it and seen obviously things like the Oompa Loompas and like how much they've changed from the original book because of racist reasons, because it's like I mean, like essentially they were pygmies essentially, and it's like, oh, I don't really, maybe you should not do that, change that in the story if we're gonna make this movie. It's like, probably it's probably best we do change it somehow. What Emmanuel?
They were what before?
They were described, if you read like the old book, they were described as like pygmy characters, and like the way that they were snuck away from Oompa Loompa Land were in like cardboard, like wooden crates, and it's like, oh, the parallels there were not good, and it's like, that's like, maybe don't like portray them as that. It would be better for like everyone.
Notations.
Was that?
I said, oh, like slavery connotation.
Yeah. I was like, I think even the kids can draw the parallels there. Maybe don't do that. It's like, okay, rewrite the story. I was like, yeah, because it's like, ugh, there's a no such it. But I just don't. There is the thing about it though. It's why orange and green hair and the little like white overalls. I can't quite get. I don't know where he got pygmies to gremlin doll monsters. I don't know where the jump from that is. It's like it took a few like tries to get that character design right, and I was like, but it's so fucking iconic, isn't it?
I think it's probably like, well, we were saying earlier, it's one of those things that's like kind of aged out now, but I imagine at the time the line of thinking was probably nobody looks like this. But yeah, because like, you know, the bit where like Veruca's dad is like, oh, I've never seen an orange face in my life, and it's like, well, now you have. Like, it's not quite as rare now. But I imagine the original line of thinking was, let's just make this so far removed from like anyone that nobody can go, that's a stand-in for this kind of person.
Yeah. One of the interesting things, one of the things I found, I say interesting, with what I think it was your theory, Ben, no, or Alex, sorry, Ben, like him doing things on purpose. It makes me wonder, the fake ticket, did he plan the fake ticket to
Oh, the guy from Paraguay.
Yeah, did he actually plan it to higher the chances that the last kid to get the ticket is someone who genuinely has a love and passion for Willy Wonka, but and isn't just in it for the prizes, fame, whatever kind of around it?
That's a good question. Because the way I looked at it first, it looked like it was just someone trying to like weasel their way in and by faking a ticket. Therefore, once that ticket was announced, they'd just go in and that'd be it, because it would be in only a few days. And then by the time it happens, someone finds another ticket, the thing would have already been, everyone would already gone in or something. But that's a good question. Like maybe it was by design that that last ticket would be in the vicinity of Wonka's factory, because Charlie's the only kid that lives in like walking distance to the factory. And I think that's quite a significant thing.
Yeah.
So it's something about that might have been like, yeah, he was always like, there was always going to be one Wonka bar really close by that he would always have the chance to find.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to assume that there's very little in anything in this that was left to chance, just because of how how much foresight Willy Wonka seems to have. So yeah, I think I mean I think the assumption has to be that like everything was planned.
And like I think you were saying, Rob, or someone else, many people were saying probably, like I also thought it aged really well. I thought, like, watching it, I was like, this is really good. Like, the way they went about, I said not all the ways they went about filming it, but the result basically. I thought, what, I really like this. It's really well done. They
I
had
wanted to sorry.
Huh?
Oh, sorry, I cut across you there.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I wish they were a bit more health and safety conscious about some stuff.
That ruins the point of the film if they're health and safety conscious. You know, what's this, whipped cream, hair cream? What? It's the insanity of it that makes it enjoyable. If it's not insane, it wouldn't be as fun, I'd say.
If it makes sense, it won't be as funny.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, essentially, that's it.
Oh yeah, there was just two things in particular. I was like, that was a bit sketchy. So like the car wash scene, instead of just getting a ton of like the equivalent of fairy liquid or whatever kind of thing and making lots of suds, they sprayed them down with foam fire extinguishers. which are really irritant to, well, the ones back then anyway, they were really irritant to the skin. So it took them several days to recover, and that was with the help of medical attention.
I was really hoping you were going to say Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, I thought. Oh wait, so I don't understand. You meant health and safety in real life, not in the movie. Right. That changes a lot of things because, unfortunately, like one of my favorite scenes is Gene Wilder drinking from that teacup, then eating the teacup. Right, that was made of wax. Essentially, they made him chew it until he kept chewing it until they went cut. When he went, what is this? It's like, no, it's just wax. Yeah, but you couldn't have cut earlier. No, you didn't look real enough. I was like, fucking. It's like, yeah. So early 70s, cut deals for everyone. It's like it's the way working the conditions, because some of the kids got injured quite a lot. Like Veruca, there was I didn't see it in the in the Amazon version when I watched it, right, because it was stretched out. But if you watch the original scene where she's breaking open and canning, her leg is actually kind of bruised and cut up because she knocked it on a rock, and it was bleeding, but you couldn't really see it because everything else was so colorful. And I was like, that's just terrible. There is a funnier one where there's the machine for the bubble gum. Then there you see some bees or wasps or something inside there. The kid who did Mike TV was a little prankster, a little piece of shit on in real life. So he got the bottle and opened it up, but essentially all the bees stung him. So it's you get what you deserve, right? And it's I mean, don't be a little shit. You want to get stung, yeah, but you have to be a little shit. Be funny. It's karma in real life as well, and in the movie. Amazing.
That's mad. I was gonna say the other one that worried me, and you talked about the kids. I didn't know that kind of injuries and stuff with the kids. One of the ones I found out about was the one. It didn't end up having an injury, but the girl who was the blueberry one.
Yeah, I think I've heard about this.
Kind of thing. They cut for lunch or took a break for lunch, and instead of hey Pat,
Yep.
instead of going, let's take her out the costume or finish the scene or whatever, they left her in the costume, and they had to roll her multiple times during their lunch break to keep her blood circulating properly because it was cutting off her circulation. I was like, what the crap?
To be fair, when they were rolling her away, I was kind of thinking she's putting a lot of trust in those Oompa Loompas, because if she goes over on her head, that's going to break her neck.
Well, I mean, in real life and in the film, it's oh man, these Oompa Loompas, gotta make sure you train them. Yep.
Oh man. On a slightly separate note, but just another thing about what I like about the film is how the musical elements of it aren't so in your face, like a classic kind of Greatest Showman musical. Where it's it's just these folks are just singing but it kind of, it's not so out of the ordinary because it's so fantastical already, and it's not a big play production. It's very small numbers. You got the grandpa who's really genuinely happy. That's not too far from okay, yeah, he hasn't walked for so long.
Excuse me, Emmanuel, he's not a grandpa, he's a scrounger. I just go to a chocolate factory. Fucking hell, my legs work suddenly. It's yeah, I think okay.
I haven't stood up in 20 years. I was no, I bet you haven't, Jay.
I somehow have found. That's the one thing that's like a constant between both versions. Like it's neither time. Is it all right?
Yeah,
Fuck you, Grandpa Joe, you cunt.
there you go. But
I like the other grandpa as well, because like when Grandpa Joe gets up, like I don't think it's on purpose, but you can see in his face he's going, "What the fuck?"
maybe other thing the director held because he did, yeah, he did like hide a lot of the script from other people, so they didn't know what was going to happen. And then when stuff happened, it was just like, what the crap was going on? It's like when one of the mothers saw Willy Wonka he was falling over, and then he just sprang back up. She was genuinely like, "Huh? What's going on? Like, what? Huh? I thought he was limping." Like she honestly thought that, oh, he must have injured himself. Suddenly wait, what's going on here? So it's great. But yeah, back to the kind of musical element kind of thing. It's
Like you were saying, that like very few, like apart from the Oompa Loompa song, none of it feels like that staged. None of it feels like Greatest Showman is very very staged.
yeah.
Like this one feels a lot more organic with the singing.
I think the
Yeah.
only time it feels staged is Charlie's mum's song. Other than that,
Damn it! I was about to say.
Oh, was
I
you?
forgot. I've completely forgot. Like, is it weird to say when I watched this film again, I completely forgot like the first 20 minutes of this film happening.
Really?
Like, I was like, okay, I kind of remember Candyman. He was like being a dick to Charlie because he didn't have any money. I was like, I kind of remember that. But then there's like the scene with like the school teacher being a dick to him, his mum singing, and then there's like the scenes that I can only imagine like as TV infomercials. Because like there's the scene where I can't remember, I don't remember this like as a child, but I watched it. I was like, your husband has been taken hostage. It's like, what do they want? Because they want your Wonka bars. It's like, can they give me a time limit? I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck did this happen? I was like, it was so stupid, but it was so great. And something about it was just like amazing. Then there was like a scene, an hour lot number 1,000 something, and it's like another box of Wonka bars, and it's like,
I fucking love that scene. The way that the end of that scene is the best thing, where he's just like, "Your Majesty."
There's something about it. It's like I didn't remember those parts as a kid, but like watching them as an adult, as like this is actually really, it's really something about so stupid, but it's quite funny, and it's like it's very charming in its own right, and it's like, damn.
I really like that aspect of it, and I think that's actually something that they don't do in the Tim Burton one, and it's just kind of like taking the time to sort of see how it's impacted the rest of the world. And if we're not following anyone who's going to be like a character later, we're just getting like these little snippets, and it's just kind of like we've set up a space to have this ransom joke, and we've hired 3 actors for basically just a one-off like scene. Yeah. It's basically just doing nothing else other than for a joke, but it is kind of filling in the impact. It's still telling you the impact of Willy Wonka and how widespread this is. Like he's opening his factory. It's like there's people just all over the planet going like, "What the fuck? I need these things." Like,
I feel like there's one scene in the Tim Burton film that was kind of funny or similar to that, is where they're in like supposedly a undisclosed Arabic country, and you see people trading Wonka bars for like a goat or something, and it's kind of like, oh right, yeah, okay, I could see like the worldwide impact that it was. But it was like, okay, I feel like that helps build up the like mythos and like the builds up like the prestige of the Wonka bars, and I was like, okay, fine. That scene was a bit like it was like a few seconds, but it was funny in that, right? And I was like, all right, yeah, I can't remember it. So yeah, but yeah, this one they actually made it a whole thing, and it was like so great. Even like the machine part with like what would a robot do with a lifetime supply of chocolate? And I was just like, what the fuck is this?
That was
now I'm going to tell the computer exactly what I'm going to do with the lifetime supply of chocolate.
just the button though. He presses the same 2 buttons over and over again. And he's like, I'm now telling the computer this, and I'm like, no, you're not. You're not fooling anybody.
I love that scene because like it's just such a good time capsule as well. Because it's like, yeah, this is how people genuinely thought computers worked in the 70s. They thought we could just have a conversation with them and they would tell us what we wanted to hear. Like,
there was something.
You can now with AI technology.
but that's another thing I was thinking. Like, I bet in like 20 years' time, we're going to look back and be like, well, we was all worrying over nothing. That wasn't intelligent at all.
See, actually, that's going to be quite funny if they get like it gets like so far advanced that when people like watch it again, they go like, "Wow, they were ahead of their time there. They predicted what happened. Like you just press 2 buttons and it'll talk to you."
In the future, they're going to be like, why did it take so long to get to this point? I already had it.
Oh, isn't that like the guy who made the steam engine in like Turkey? Like way before like Edison, he made the steam engine, but he didn't use it for like an engine. He used it to turn doner kebabs. You've never heard this? Yeah. Essentially, he made a thing that's like heats it up and it makes steam and it turned the doner kebab on like an axle, and it was like, oh, okay. But that's a very rudimentary steam engine. No, just for doner kebab. Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay. All right. It's just like technology. It's just fascinating.
Talking about these little cutaways, I just had a nice little moment where I kind of went, man, the amount of time and stuff that must have taken just for a little throwaway joke. It's really nice that they did that. And I was like, when was the last time I said this about a pig? And then I realised it was Fantastic Mr. Fox.
That's
ring, and then they made a whole lamp version of Mrs. Fox. Just a dickhead joke. It's not anything. It's just like just for a laugh. I was like, I like that this is a Roald Dahl thing where you just kind of like, fuck it. I've got money. I've got time. Let's just do a couple of stupid jokes for a bit.
I do think we've had the best 2 Roald Dahl films now, though.
Well, I mean, like the only other one
2 more that I would still pick though.
Oh, 2 more, really?
Yeah, Matilda and James and Giant Peach.
I was about to say, I was like, don't choose the witches. The witches were a bit weird.
Oh, I do like the witches as well. To be fair, yeah.
I don't know. I think
I'm gonna pick them all. That's it.
It's the claymation, right? And it's like it's all right. It's like
it's Jim Henson.
Was that Jim Henson claymation?
Yeah, Jim Henson did witches. If that's what you're talking about.
Oh, there's
I thought you said James and Giant Peach for a second.
James and Giant Peach was the guy who did Nightmare Before Christmas. What's his name?
Jim Bird.
Henry
Selick.
Oh, okay.
And Coraline and Cooper and 2 Strings.
All right.
Oh yeah, Cooper 2 Strings. It's okay, yes, but it's like
there's a new trilogy on Netflix of Roald Dahl films. If you haven't seen it.
Oh.
Really?
Wes Anderson has made 3 new Roald Dahl films.
Is that the one where he's like talking, where they got lots of actors talking about him writing in his little like shed?
Yeah, well, I think that was like a promo thing for it. But one of them is The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Another one is Poison, and the third one is Ratcatcher.
Ooh, interesting. Got to check. Oh, okay, I think that's probably worth a mini-series check out. Or is it a movie? I don't know.
Well, they're kind of short films. They're all about 40 minutes each.
Mini-series there is. Okay.
Saying that about the other thing, Matilda, it reminded me that when I first saw Augustus, I thought of the kid in Matilda.
Bruce Bogtrotter.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's forced to eat all the cake. Oh yeah, it reminds me of that kid. Anyway.
Yeah, you're right. When you type him in the gifts on Messenger, he does come up. So
Does he?
it's, oh wow, it's the same kid, isn't it? Oh.
But I guess there's a well, what's the word I'm looking for? There is a this did influence this film did influence what the future films will be like for Augustus Gloop, because he's never actually, because this is the thing I think I saw like on YouTube, none of the characters are actually described as being from, like in the book, being from either Germany or England or States or anything, but all like just characters that are described as like their personalities. So him being German was decided by in this film, and because it's such a big influence about it, they chose to do that for the Tim Burton film as well. Everyone where they are now is influenced by this film, because we have the German guy, we have Augustus from Germany, we have Ruka from the UK, and we have the two people from like the States, and obviously Charlie himself. The only other thing I also realized as doing a little bit of like a research on it, did you know there was supposed to be 7 kids and there was supposed to be 7 tickets?
So what?
In the book?
Yeah, it was rewritten again. I mean, it was rewritten twice, from what I understand from like the guy who described it on the YouTube, and like, because I remember reading about one of those kids, as because they essentially he made like another little short story about the character and what would happen to them. And I was like, oh, that's different, because it's not what I would have expected, and it's like, oh, it explains so much more what the characters could have been and could have done, and it was quite nice to see. But I don't know how else it would have influenced for where they would come, because like none of them are from Eurocentric and stateside countries, but none of the, because is he supposed to be, Anna Rodolph is from like not English. He's from, where is he from? He's like from Norway or something, right? But where is Willy Wonka supposed to, where is the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory actually supposed to be set in? Is it actually supposed to be UK or England? Because I remember reading in the books like a long time ago, he picks up $1, and I'm like, oh, but that would make him in America. So it's like I don't know where if he's actually supposed to be English or not.
Like we mentioned, I think we mentioned this before you turned up actually, because Emmanuel said it was filmed in the province of Germany. I think I can't remember where exactly. And what I noticed about it, you can clearly see like the architecture and the stylings of the village and the town. It's all very mid-Eastern European kind of like flavour to it. And the people and the extras in the film are all European or German, and you can see many of them have been dubbed for that reason. And it gives this film then quite this European fantasy fairy tale style and that vibe, which I do appreciate. But it definitely makes it seem like, yeah, Wonka and his chocolate factory is in somewhere in Europe, an undisclosed country. And it really has that vibe. But the only inconsistency with that is the Bucket family is very like English. And Charlie's very American.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, it's kind of just like miscellaneous anywhere. Like, unless it's specified, then take your pick of where it might be. I think the only thing that gives it away is like, you know, when you have a shot from behind the gates looking out into the street, the building across the road is very like brutalist architecture from the UK. Like that couldn't be anywhere else. But then when you look at like the aerial shots, that could be anywhere in Europe, and like, yeah.
I forgot about that like drone shot that they have at the end with the glass elevator. Oh yeah, that's the second fan theory that people make of the film. Is like, yeah, but Willy Wonka is essentially just, you know, Doctor Who, and it's like, what? And it's like, you know, people make jokes. And it's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, no, look, it's just he has a magical box where he travels everywhere. Then afterwards, he has the second book in the series with like the glass elevator where he goes into magical worlds and he does weird magical shit. And it's like, oh, it's not magic, it's sci-fi. And it's essentially an episode of Doctor Who.
Speaking of Doctor Who, I don't want to derail things, but why is David Tennant back?
I think they're
Because
doing
he
a
is.
reboot.
Oh, is it literally just?
No, he's just been back for like the 3 specials as a reuniting with Catherine Tate and the original writer Russell T Davies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just wanted to have a little like swan song before what's his name, the new guy comes in. How do you say his name? Niguati or something?
Shooty.
Shooty. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the N is kind of silent, and then there's also like a non-existent H after the C.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna have his full like 13 episode season after.
Okay. Sweet. That's nice.
Because I saw like a little bit of it today, and I was like, "What happened to Shooty Gatwa?"
He's coming.
But the reason why I say it is because I remember reading. How many of you? Oh, I feel like most of us have read Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Yes.
Yeah, when I was like 10.
When I was a kid, like, yeah.
How many of you read the sequel?
I've read the sequel too. I had fond memories, but I won't be able to tell you what happens apart from the elevator.
Because I remember reading parts of the sequel. I was like, oh no, I was bored at like a cousin's house. He had the book. I was just like, I've never actually read this, and I read through a few of it, and I was like, there's a scene where the reason why I say it's magical, mystical, Doctor Who, timey-wimey bullshit is because there's like he invents a candy, but it's like essentially the fountain of youth, like helps them like de-age, and like one of the grandparents just like eats lots of them, and it becomes, well, it disappears, and it's like, oh no, we have to go to the negative realm, and it's like, okay, you have a button for that? Oh, it's this one. And it was like, oh, okay, but he goes there, and there's like they see a bunch of flying people like flying around. He goes, why are they flying like that? Oh, because they're negative signs and they have to float around that way. And it's like, what's up bullshit are you saying? It's like, you're supposed to be a chocolatier, you're not Doctor. Oh, there's like, oh wait, yeah, it's just Doctor Who. It just helps it. In fact, the story is just like, I don't remember reading the rest of it because I put it down after reading that. I was like, yeah, this has got too far away from candy now. Okay, that's the end of that. I was like,
I never read the original book. I only read a tiny bit of the glass elevator, and I don't know why I stopped. But when I stopped, it was probably quite early on because they were still in the elevator. There was lots of magical stuff going on, but I was like, they're quite far in space.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things that like maybe we could say that this version of Earth is a bit weird because there's firstly Oompa Loompa Land exists, and so do the what the fuck does he call those monsters? Like this Bandersnatch Snap.
Woozle.
Yeah, but like
that could easily be
like such weird names. Like Mr. Salt is like Snazzwaffles. What the fuck are you talking about? It's just like
It reminded me of the Simpsons episode when they're in Australia. They're like, that'll be the Snazzwazzers.
Yeah, well, Snazzwazzers.
But it's so great because like there's so much. It's so fantastical and like it's so like I don't because thinking about it and like watching like try to remember the Johnny Depp one because he does go and explain it. And I think it's Mike TV's mum was like, I'm a geography teacher. I know these things.
Oh, I love
and
that.
And he's like, well, you would know how the trust history that their lands is, and you understand the suffering that these poor Oompa Loompas go through. Cuts off, and it's like, yeah. And it's just like, oh, okay.
Such a fucking perfect scene, man. Like, I'm a geography teacher, and there's no such place as Loompa Land. Oh, you're a geography teacher, so you know all about it.
That is right. Even the bits where he's like Mike TV has like this smart aleck remark against him, and you really shouldn't mumble It's a bad habit or kind of thing. And he does that in both versions as well. It's like, you really need to stop mumbling. I just can't hear a word you're saying.
Oh, is Alec falling asleep?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I get. We did come. We did come. I guess I did come late, so that's fine. It happens.
At least he's not recording.
That's yeah. So what else was I going to say? This like characters comparisons to each. Well, because I feel like we have to compare this version of the movie and obviously the Tim Burton one, and like certain things we agree that are definitely better than one things. Like for example, like the Johnny Depp's look is not. It's just really not great. And I feel like because I feel like they said that he can't look like too much like Gene Wilder, or it would be like where everyone wouldn't be sure if it was like a reimagining or a remake of the book or the film, and that's in itself is like, oh right, it's kind of like it reminds me of like when people said like, yeah, when Mark Hamill had to do the Joker voice, and it's like, yeah, don't do Nicholson, you'll be fine. And it's like, okay, just don't do Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, don't do Gene Wilder, you'll be fine. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, like, because I think with the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka, you're a little bit unsure about what's the truth and like what's just him fucking with you and like that kind of thing. But with the Johnny Depp one, it's just like a really like I think I feel uneasy because he feels uneasy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, he is uneasy with people. I guess that's the point of the story, that he kind of is. He doesn't like social interaction, therefore he just doesn't know how to interact to kids and adults. But at the same time, he has to have some sort of like, what's the word, magnetism and kind of like confidence to have got where he is. He's made this factory. He's got all these Oompa Loompas under him, and he's been working years making a name for himself. He has to have something, have this sort of like charisma. He has to have something that makes everyone kind of like be drawn to him and understand how he got where he is. And Johnny Depp's Wonka doesn't. You don't really believe he would. You believe him as the son of a Willy Wonka type character, but the Wonka himself, maybe not.
Yeah, I think that's partly why the Gene Wilder one feels a little bit more magical. Which I think that's probably a good way to describe the two of them. I think the Tim Burton one looks more magical, but the Gene Wilder one feels more magical.
Yeah.
I'm glad Alex agrees as well.
Yeah. Well, I would say also because like budget wise and like the technology to make it more. Because from what I understand, like when they first go into the edible garden room, none of that is actually pretty much none of that is CG. All of that is like real like physical effects. They purposely built it up, but because of the technology that they have, you can tell it's like obviously gonna be better. It's not like where Gene Wilder had to stab his cane through a styrofoam mushroom and like twirl it around.
Yeah.
Like, you go, yeah, it's fine because it's kind of like it could be candy, but it's just like it's like yeah, obviously it's quite fake, but looking at it now, it's like it's still okay.
I do really love that scene actually, like where the parents are all just like tasting the stuff that's around them. Because I think there's just like a really nice thing where like all of these adults have come to the chocolate factory and they're getting like a little bit of their childhood back. I think that's really sweet.
That was a good touch, the way they sort of like dig in and indulge in themselves, like the kids would. Like you say, is that they just. It's like, well, why wouldn't we? You're in this place that no one else in the world is privileged to go into, and it's all this wonder and things you've never seen before.
Yeah, I think that's a really lovely scene.
This film did a really good job. It's like, since I was a kid, I was like, even if looking back now it looks like fake stuff, I mean, I still was like, oh, this. Imagine eating all this stuff for real and going to a place. I would love to bite into that that candy daffodil and the drink out of the the disgusting, dirty river and and all the stuff. Everything looked like you could eat it, and it's tangible and it's something real. And I just like that memory of watching this film. Thing like, I just want to go there.
Yeah, that was like part of the nostalgia I had for it, I think, because the Wonka bars reminded me of me and you going into Londis and buying them after school in year 7.
Yeah, it was. It really was. They weren't like, some of it was cheap chocolate and some of it wasn't good, but it was just the idea of it and just the novelty as well. That goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely. Why did you hate it, Pat?
No, yeah, that's a good point. Why did you like it?
He hates chocolate.
Well, I can't really put my finger on it. I've just never liked either film. To be fair, the Tim Burton one I think is easily Tim Burton's worst film he's ever made.
Oh,
Right.
that's a big statement. He's made some stinkers.
Well, there's 3 Tim Burton films that I know of that I don't like, and we've now had 2 of them in Film Club.
Fucking hell, man. You hate all the great ones. Well, actually, no. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is not great, but Ed Wood is great.
And Ben's picking potentially one of his most well-loved ones that I
fuck
can't
off. That's one of his
stand either.
best ones.
Yeah, and that's undeniably.
You mean that one or the other
Yeah,
one?
I fucking hate that film.
No, that's one of his
what?
best ones. That's like top
Man,
2.
that's okay.
So
Wait, no.
I'm picking both of them, and they're both ones I love. So there we go. And Pat hates them both.
I'll watch them. I mean, I'll give it another go. But I remember when I was younger, I absolutely hated that film.
Oh, dude, that's one of my favourites. If Ben wasn't picking it, I'd have picked it already. I fucking love that film. It's so good.
This film, like, I thought Gene Wilder was really good.
Okay, I'm glad you said that at least.
Like, he was really good, but like, I feel like this is the kind of film where you have to have liked it when you were a kid to still appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of scenes, especially in the Chocolate Factory, that made me laugh. Especially when the kid falls into the river. I was like, ah, kind of thing. Like when all these kids came to like losing because of their own sort of greed and whatever. I was like, that's actually a pretty cool take on it. Like the aim of the game to actually win it is to show that like you're sort of well brought up, but you're also not greedy. This instruction. Charlie and his granddad decided to drink the drink and go flying. But even that scene itself, I actually quite liked. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. I don't know. It didn't really click with me. It's not. I wouldn't exactly say it's a terrible film. Like, it seems like it's made with a lot of love and all, but it's just not one that I connected with. As for the Tim Burton one, I thought it was just dreadful.
I think the Tim Burton one. I mean, there's arguments for why it's the better film of the 2. I don't necessarily agree with all of them.
No. Because, like, technically speaking, the Tim Burton one is more book accurate, and it's like, all right, there's certain things story wise that make a little bit more sense because, like, if I remember correctly, the whole, like, as you said, the extremely fizzy soda thing, it was mentioned in the book. It wasn't a scene that they made into. Well, they made it in this film, but they didn't make it into like the Tim Burton film. It was just it was a passing comment, and it was like, all right, because again, more like book, more to the book. Because the scene that I'm referring to, that there was like actually, which is like debatable which one is better or not, is the scene with Veruca Salt with the golden egg and the nuts. And I was like, I don't know which pun I like better. She's a bad. She had a bad nut, or she was a bad egg. I was like, both of them are kind of stupid puns, but they really work. And I'm like, oh, I don't know which was better because again, the Tim Burton one was more accurate, but the bad egg one kind of sounds better, like as a phrase. I was like, so yeah, there is like some people have said that the Tim Burton one has its better quality points. But again, it's debatable because this one is still quite classic. But I guess the question, Pat, is like, did you prefer this one more?
Oh yeah, easily.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
mean,
That's fine for me.
to be
That's
fair,
fine for me.
right, all I'd have to do is watch the trailer for this one, and it's already beating the Tim Burton one. I remember before watching the Tim Burton one, loads of people hating on it. Like I was like, oh, it's a remake of a classic. I hadn't even seen the classic at that point, or the original even.
Oh, you demoted it.
So I saw the remake. I thought was utter trash. Watched the original. I was like, well, I don't like it, but it's much better than what Tim Burton made, which surprised me because Tim Burton, for the most part, is usually a hit for me anyway. Apart from a couple of films that we've already mentioned, like even films like Alice in Wonderland, I actually quite like, and they're probably one of his weaker ones.
Yeah, I'm not into Alice in Wonderland.
And in a way, it's similar in style to his Charlie film. At least I feel that way.
You're right. It is. That's why I'm surprised you're so against the remake in that sense. But is it mainly Johnny Depp that ruins it for you? Or
I think it is. I really do think it is. I felt at the time it was made as like a poor taste joke on Michael Jackson. Yeah, that was the way I was originally.
Yeah, I don't think it was intended, but it sort of comes across as that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's intentional, but yeah, there is a bit of like it's a bit like with Pirates in the Caribbean and Johnny Depp doing a Keith Richards thing, like he just does a Michael Jackson thing for Willy Wonka.
Yeah, and I just don't think it worked. And for me, I think if the main character in it, or one of the main characters in it, is you struggle to watch with any sort of like enjoyment or anything like that, I think it does take away from the film.
Yeah, that's like the main difference for me, because I think the Tim Burton one looks better, and I also think the story makes more sense. But one of the main reasons that I prefer this one is just because Willy Wonka is so much more watchable.
Yeah, like Gene Wilder is a fantastic actor. It's just a shame I don't like. Well, the two films that we've had in Film Club, I haven't liked either of them.
Oh.
Have you ever seen Young Frankenstein?
Maybe. I can't remember though.
Oh, I have to pick that next as well.
Yeah, I wonder what you'll think of it, because it's the same director as the producers, isn't it?
Yeah. It's Mel Brooks.
Yeah, Mel Brooks. Yeah.
Yeah, but each film is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll pick it, or Alec or Simon or Rob will.
All you got to do is look at Tim Burton. I dislike 3 films that's, well, 2 of them are regarded really high. This one, I'm not sure if people are just changing their mind over what they thought in the beginning. But I generally thought that his take on fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was universally hated at the time. But then you've got films like Beetlejuice and Batman and things like that. Big Eyes, Big Fish, like films that I absolutely love.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, like it seems to be everything that Tim Burton made after Big Fish basically got panned. But he has made, I think he's made a couple of decent films. I quite like Frank and Weenie.
I've not seen that one.
A couple of
I've
others.
also not seen Nightmare on Elm Street. Not Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's a different nightmare entirely.
Yeah, that's a nightmare that I have seen.
Yeah, absolutely Nightmare.
Did you see the other day that Tim Burton was like, "There's never going to be a Nightmare Before Christmas 2"?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Why would there be?
Yeah,
because
Disney
we're in the age of sequels, man. Obviously, somebody's
but like,
approached
it's
him
like
about
it would have to. It wouldn't be Nightmare Before Christmas. It would be like it would have to be Nightmare Before Christmas, the Thanksgiving heist or some bullshit, right? You have to have another holiday to add it. It'll be like a whole fucking thing. It'll be like, oh Christ.
To be fair,
completely split it and just have like the nice dream before Christmas or something.
To be
the
fair,
nice dream before Easter.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott said there wasn't going to be Gladiator 2, and guess what's coming out next year?
Oh, Ridley Scott. Ridley
Nice.
Scott.
Money
What a
talks.
man!
He's got out of jail scot-free.
Ah,
That's his production company, to be
yeah,
fair.
no.
Indeed. Yeah.
I can guarantee you there will be more Scots in the coming future.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, eventually. Well, I mean, I think you'll choose a couple of his films. What else was there to say? This film had quite like all of the kids were kind of shitty because of like the designs of the kids.
Oh, I hated the girl. She done my head in.
Which girl?
That fucking pompous little bitch that didn't have.
Okay,
That's the one.
I was about to say which of the kids did you hate the most?
Oh, her. By a country mile. I was hoping she'd get hit by a bus. But and at the same time, I do respect the actor that played her because.
So Pat, you got you got muted. You all right?
Yeah, Ben just muted me.
Oh, did? Oh. So say again, Pat. I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, Pat. I tried to unmute myself, but you. I was like, what's going on?
I was like, I'm talking to nobody now. Oh shit, I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Where was I? Talking about this girl.
Yeah.
Like, it takes like a pretty good performance. Like this is what brings me back to things like Game of Thrones. The guy who played Joffrey.
Okay, yeah.
You play, especially at such a young age, when you play such a character that you physically hate, that you want to do physical harm to, because they're so annoying. It tells you how well they've played that character.
But who do you want to do physical harm to?
That fucking girl in this film.
Oh, Veruca.
Yeah. She has such an apt name. Veruca's are fucking annoying too. Actually, that might make me bump up my acting score because that was. Yeah, I can't really take away the acting from it because like Gene Wilder was great. She was a great arsehole.
I think her dad was one of my favourite bits, to be honest, because like he was such a good character for just like pointing out how ridiculous things were.
Oh, you know what? Her dad annoyed me too because I see kids like this every day kicking off because they don't get what they want, and then you have the dad's like, "Yeah, I'll get you that." Fuck off.
I think we've just found out why Pat didn't get on with this one.
Oh, you fucking shut the fuck up.
Right, acting gets an 8 now.
Yeah, it's great.
I also equally found her very annoying.
Admittedly speaking, she's supposed to be like one of the worst people like ever. That's kind of like the point of the film. But it's like I feel like all the actors, all the young like kids did quite well for what they're like, what they needed to do. I mean, like for Augustus Gloop, the story. This is a story like behind the scenes, right? Essentially, it was a very like good character because essentially that river of chocolate was actually made of like water and cocoa powder. That's how they got the color. And it was like supposedly there's like some milk in the cocoa powder, so it's been running on the set for a while. It started to smell, and he had to be in it, and all he could say was like, "Yeah, that was like dirty water." And it was actually dirty water. It's like, oh, it's so gross, and it's like, oh, great. He stuck it up, right? But like, fucking hell, could you imagine being in like essentially he's in that tube, but he was stuck wet with like spoiled milk, and I was like, oh Christ, ugh. Like,
I think that would have affected me more than the fire extinguisher.
Well, it's actually another funny story, but there was the Violet Beauregard. Yeah, I was trying to remember the names. Her character is obviously the one who chews the gum and becomes Violet. You're turning violet. Yeah, but it's like because she's chewing gum for this whole like film, it gave her like cavities to the point where because there was no sugar-free gum. It was just gum, right? Essentially, to the point where she went.
Oh wow!
When she got interviewed older, she was like, I haven't ate gum since that film.
Wow.
I was like, wait, what? Yeah. I've chewed gum so much before for that film. It gave me so much pain in my mouth that it's like I can't chew gum again, or it's gonna give me nightmares. I was like, oh, fair enough. I was like, wow. So these kids gotta give them props. They've sacrificed a lot for this film, and it's like it affected them in real life, and it's like, oh, ugh. But yeah, it's great.
That's mad, man.
I was gonna say all these people deserve the props that they needed for what they did. I don't know about like the kids for like the Tim Burton film. I can't remember the name of the actor for Charlie because he's he's an actor. I feel like I've seen a lot. I just can't remember his name.
You know, for ages I thought it was
Freddie
Asa
Highmore.
Butterfield, but it's not.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen him do lots of other movies before. I can't remember what else.
Yeah, Freddie Highmore was in the Good Doctor TV series.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Fuck! Oh, I feel like it's so fucking familiar. His face.
And
it's
God
in the. Damn.
He plays Norman Bates in the Bates Motel series.
Oh shit, does he?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
shit.
Wow.
His face looks so familiar. I just couldn't put like I was like, who are you? You're so familiar. That's where it is. He is. Oh shit! My mind is exploded. It is all. It's just full of candy. Okay, cool. Okay, that explains a lot for me. Whew. Yeah, but
that's mad. I didn't realize that was the same guy.
Yeah, but I feel like seeing the actors now, especially with like what they're doing, I don't know what they would. I feel like they won't. They did it for that while. I don't know what they currently are doing now. Are they still in other films and stuff? I can't picture their faces, which is the problem, right? And it's like, oh, that's maybe it's just a me thing.
Yeah, I don't know if any of the other kids have gone on to act in anything else. Freddie Highmore was only one in that one, and in the originals, I can't think of anyone else that went on to anything.
I feel like some of them did like some like other sort of like acting stuff. It wasn't much, but like also occasionally, essentially, they get asked to do like interviews from like people on the BBC and like comic conventions just to ask them what was it like going or living through that set and all the other stuff. You know, all the like, typical like, oh, you're a child actor. What was it like being a child? I was like, and they give him their like, well, I mean, yeah, essentially, it really is, to be honest. Like, I was like, you're a child actor. What was it like your childhood life? And it's like, yeah, they're just like they're going through it, and it's like seeing their story, and they're like, I'll tell you how my life was, and so on and so forth. So it's like it's good to see what they're doing now, or what they did, and what they're doing now, and like their interviews with it, and it's like I feel like it gives it like a whole like full circle of like what they learned from their experiences as the children who were terrible human beings in this film, and I feel like that's quite nice to see.
From what I know, I'm trying to think, not the one who played Veruca. Actually, it might be the one who did go blue. Yeah, I think it might have been the one that went blue. But he was still acting until like 2013.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't know necessarily what she was doing, but yeah, she was still acting. Maybe someone called Denise something. It's bad with the name.
because this is a musical film, which one was your favorite musical number?
Oh, it's definitely Gene Wilder's Own, man. I love that one.
Okay.
That's like, come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. I think that's a great song.
Yes.
Pure pain, more like.
Oh, fuck you.
No, for Pat, it's pure fatulation.
I feel like that is definitely. I feel like that song in itself is probably the most influential thing in this film. It's been in all other films. It's been in Thor Ragnarok. No, seriously, there was the scene in Thor Ragnarok where you see Thor is going through that weird, like, welcome to Sakaar thing, and the song that was playing back in the background was Pure Imagination. I instantly clocked it was, and I was like, why are they playing this? It suits it, but it was just really weird. But it was like, and they were like, what are you? I know, obviously people were like, what are you talking about, Simon? It's just a Willy Wonka catching picture. It's like, can you not hear it? No, it's like, okay. I feel like the song in itself was really good, and it's probably the thing that influenced a lot of things. I feel like just the scene itself, just like as an opening set, it was so well shot as well, because it showed you and established the characters so well just in those opening few steps into the scene, because you have Gene introducing the characters, them singing along. But if you just watch the scene again, you see they have background interactions with each other. You see Veruca and Violet like having weird like fight on like who wants to step first and like into this thing, and then afterwards he has the cane and he stops it and like, just look around and see it, and it's like, and it continues on, and it fits the sort of like, you see the characters slowly like it's the thing where you guys have always said show don't tell. He showed them acting like pieces of shit because they're kids, but like because these kids are particular pieces of shit, and it shows them and how they would act around other people. And it's like, even though he's introducing like the wonder that is this fucking factory and this whole garden of edible foods, right? They're like still arguing with her. It's only like Grandpa Joe and Charlie right at the back that are like actually appreciating everything. And I think that's very well. It's probably is probably my favorite scene for the whole film, because it just brings it all together. Because it gives that song and like those sort of like moments give the actual movie its soul, and like it's like structure, like the skeletal structure of what makes all of the people themselves. And I feel like that is probably what's my favorite scene in this film, and it's so good. It's so fucking good.
Yeah,
so good.
That's a good choice, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
well said, Tommy.
Then it comes the other side of that question is, which song didn't you like? Not Charlie's Mother song, because let's say, because everyone forgot that song existed. But you know, there's the song where he's like on the boat and he just goes through that weird.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
So weird.
No way knowing where we're going.
Do you know what? Like tonally,
light is showing.
Just tonally, that whole bit really reminded me of A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, it
You're
really
not
was.
wrong. You're not
It
wrong.
was so like 70s editing and the music and the psychedelia kind of like going all right. And it was just so unsettling. And I remember when it came out, there were so many kids and parents complained about the scene because the stock footage they used of an actual chicken being decapitated. But that was real. That was a real thing, and it's kind of like all the creepy crawlers as well, and all the weird, strange things that you see in the tunnel. It played on so many kids' minds when that came out, and I don't blame him. I'm surprised it wasn't cut down.
Yeah, that is mad.
But yeah, that scene just cemented why Gene Wilder's the best Wonka, just because of how unhinged and strange and weird he gets when he does that monologue, and he just like his eyes just go mad, and he just goes, he sits there and he just yells that monologue, and then suddenly stop, and then if it's normal, and he's just like, yeah, we're here, hair cream. So yeah, that's my favourite scene, I think, just because it comes out of nowhere, like all the lovely wonderfulness and the imagination and the fairy tale-ness of the previous scene that Simon says about Pure Imagination song is just such a stark contrast. And then you go back to madness again, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, I do think that scene is probably maybe like one of the reasons that I grew up to love horror so much, because like it's such like an uneasy feeling. And I think that's probably like the predecessor to me watching things like The Evil Dead and going like, oh, this is familiar.
Yeah, that goes with a lot of all the great kids movies we saw as little, like Pinocchio has all these really creepy moments in it, and like all the Disney films we've chosen before, like Basil's a good example, even like American Tail, they all have these really creepy moments and unsettling imagery, and it all sticks with you. It will stick with you even if on the whole the film is quite child friendly and kid friendly, and everything about it is just something anyone of any age will enjoy. But there's always that little unnerving bit that kind of will stick in your head as when you see it really young.
Yeah.
Just creep you out. But it shapes you are and your tastes from it.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I think the Pure Imagination one is nice as a song itself. And yeah, it is very iconic. Like hearing it again, I was just like, yeah, this is cool. I kind of forgot how many songs were in it again because it doesn't seem so in my face. It just kind of flows with it. So it's really nice. I think probably the favorite scene for me would be the one where he's in the tunnel. Because it just makes me laugh. It's just like he's like, no, stop. It's just like when I'm seeing them, I'm just like, yeah, he really is messing with him. He's just effing with him. And it's just like, and I feel like, but even though Charlie and his grandpa, he, he's kind of strange. They're just like, and the other adults are just like, ah. Yeah, it's great. Actually, another song I really like though is it just stays in my head whenever they start singing.
Wait, which one was that? You cut out for a second there.
Yeah, are you talking about the Oompa Loompas?
Yeah, I was saying another one I like is Oompa Loompas kind of sounds like they So how do I sound? Am I cutting up?
No, you sound fine. It's just that
crackling
you
a
cut
bit
out
for me.
quite quickly.
Oh, I'm crack. Oh.
It sounds like you're going through like my bags of snacks. That's how it sounds like.
Yeah,
It sounds like you're crackling.
Pill bottles. That's what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, sorry.
How does it sound now?
Yeah,
No,
I
it
think
sounds
that's
good.
okay.
It sounds better. Yeah.
That might have been me actually.
Oh,
Sorry about
Damn it, pal.
that's why I always mute when I eat snacks. It doesn't be too crinkly. Yeah.
With the Oompa Loompa one, it just sticks in my head. It's just always just like, yes, Oompa 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 doo doo. I got that. It's just great because they're singing. Sorry, they're singing. Sorry, they're saying through the song like what they're gonna do, like what questions they got, etc., etc. It's just cool.
Yeah, it is an earworm, man. Like I was saying earlier, I've been singing it all day, but like without knowing what the lyrics are, so I'm just like making them up myself. And you can't do that for every song.
that was a question I wanted to ask. Pure Imagination is the magnum opus for this film. Was there a song like that in the Tim Burton film? Because I know that
No,
Oompa Loompa sing.
I don't think the songs in that one are anywhere near as iconic.
No, I think they're great in a different way, but the songs are more like there's only 4. Well, to be fair, 3. No, it's kind of like the Oompa Loompa songs are really like they take the lyrics from the Roald Dahl story, and Danny Elfman kind of makes these crazy like new songs from them. But there's no like other songs like Candyman or Pure Imagination. It's just the main Oompa Loompa tracks, pretty much.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense. But I feel like it removes some of the magic that it was in the movie. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Because
it's
for
not a musical. That's the difference. Yeah.
Because I know for the whole point of the songs that it's well, they're essentially the moral song. They're talking about the morals of the story, right? They're like essentially they're musical numbers saying, "Hey kids watching this film, don't be a piece of shit." And that's about it, right? Essentially, even in like the Tim Burton one, essentially it's the same thing of like, "Hey, be a good person. We're singing a song, so it's catchy that you guys remember to be a good person. So yeah, okay, let's be good people. Yeah, that's it. Out." Disappears. But it's just like, yeah, it makes it's just weird. And I guess this also brings us probably to one of our good points of this. I am very worried for the new Wonka film with what's his name? Chalamet?
Chalamet.
Timmy Chalamet. And who was it again that was playing the Oompa Loompa? Fucking
Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
I'm very worried what they're going to do with this film because it's like.
I think like from the trailers, it looks like Timothée Chalamet looks like. I think he thinks that he's being a lot more quirky than he is. But weirdly enough, it's actually his performance particularly is getting really good reviews.
Yeah, that's interesting because his performance in the trailers doesn't look anywhere near as charismatic as either Johnny Depp or Wilder, especially not Wilder. And it's like, so yeah, I'm not sure where this film's going to lead or how it's going to land.
But to be honest, the biggest concern for me is that it's the same director as Paddington, and I fucking hate Paddington.
Is it because of the link to the Queen?
Paddington is a conservative, and none of us should buy into him.
Wait, what?
No, I just don't like it. But no, like one of the it's very much like it reminds me a bit of something that you'd see on BBC Two, and it's like sort of like a BBC owned drama where everyone speaks in kind of like a sort of
received English.
Yeah.
Queen's English, yes. But there was a lot of Roald Dahl in that too.
Tell you how, old chaps.
Well, it's not even that. It's like you have characters and you have actors like Rowan Atkinson in it, and it's like, why are you here? Do you really care about this film, or are you here for a paycheck? I feel like it's just a bit. I don't know. It feels like this film. It has a lot of like chances to really disappoint. I won't keep my expectations high, but it's supposed to be. I should be higher than it is what I'm saying, you know. So it's like, I'm just very worried because
we'll let you know next week.
Yeah, it's out.
Oh, you're actually going to see it next week?
Yeah, it's out next week, right? And it's like, I'm so worried.
Where else is it on? Let me have a look. I need to think about what I'm going to see on Monday.
Because we've already seen The Hunger Games and Napoleon Alec.
I heard that Napoleon is not that bad compared to.
Napoleon's pretty good.
I thought it was all right. I probably I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again, but I thought it was all right.
I mean, Rob, I think watching it, you would have been able to tell that it was my kind of film straight off the bat.
I think the thing that I liked the most about it was that You know, like this whole time, Ridley Scott has been like, "Shut the fuck up, historians," and everyone's got the ump about it. Like as soon as I watched it, I was like, "People have got the wrong end of the stick here." This is deliberately Napoleon telling a story about Napoleon that isn't quite true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like if it's, I've not watched it, but I mean, if it's him telling the story, then obviously it makes sense. It's like Hugh Jackman's character telling the story of of him being in The Greatest Showman. Yeah, I'm the greatest in The Greatest Showman. Yeah, of course you would say that, you prick.
Oh, that would have been great if that was how The Greatest Showman was actually, and then at the end you just see him actually, pretty much almost destitute. Everyone hates him, and he's just like, "Well, I wish this is how my life really went."
Fuck. Holy shit. Oh man.
One of the things I almost forgot that this film did that I really liked. You know how you guys were talking about with JFK, how they played the guy from Goodfellas, and it's just like, this is an example of someone who's too big and too recognizable to be in this type of role.
Yeah.
And for the Candyman shop kind of thing, there were two people who really wanted to play them, but they were both like, "No, you're too sorry." Sorry. They were both like, the director's like, "You're both," to both of them, is like, "You're too recognizable, too big for different reasons." The first guy, he did, I think, a lot of, it was Andrew something. He did quite a lot of, I think, roles and also musical type stuff at the time. And instead of him being the Candyman, he wrote all the music for the film.
Oh wow.
Which is quite cool. So instead of like actually playing the Candyman, he just wrote all the music for the movie. And then Sammy Davis Jr. also wanted to play the Candyman. He was just like, "Sorry, as much as I like it's like it'll be too kitsch, and no, you're too recognizable, too big. It doesn't make sense for the role. I need someone who's not really that well known to be this like small, unassuming part." But then he did let Sammy Davis Jr. make like his version of the Candyman song, which made the Billboard Top 100.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah, I don't know if I have. My wife has. She was like, "Oh yeah, Sammy Davis one." It's like, "Oh yeah, it is." But yeah, I thought that was good how director was paying attention to that kind of stuff and being like, "But no, we need someone in this part that's not too big. I know you really want to be in the film and you'd be great, but it's just, it won't fit the kind of purpose and what we're going for here." I respected that. That was cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. For actually, crap. For Grandpa Joe in the Tim Burton film, you also had the other grandpa who was I know his name. I know his face. Sorry, I just don't remember his name on top of my head. It's not Grandpa Joe, but the other grandpa, like Mrs. Bucket's like parents, who's like Bill
Grandpa
Nye.
George.
Yeah. What's the name of the actor again?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
He's so famous. I just can't remember the top of my head. My brain just blanks.
Willy Wonka.
To be honest, I'm not sure I recognised him.
Yeah, I don't know any of the actors. No.
He's the guy who plays. He was in Shaun of the Dead as Shaun's like stepdad.
No, that can. That
Bill
was
Nye.
no. He
Yeah.
would have been like 25 in that film.
No, in the Tim Burton one.
Oh, this. Oh,
Oh, the Tim Burton one. Oh,
Oh,
right,
no,
okay.
he's still
That makes
not
much
Bill
more
Nye.
sense.
That's still not him though.
Is it not him?
No.
Fuck. Okay, never mind. I feel like I feel like there's a lot of actors being more famous actors that are in smaller roles in these films. Was what my point was gonna be. But I was like, it's fine. I feel like if they enjoy the story enough, it's probably good for them, I guess. But like, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's just like I don't know who else would be famous in the Gene Wilder one except for Gene Wilder himself, and who else was famous in the Tim Burton one. Everyone else is kind of like, you know what I mean.
So in the Tim Burton one, it was apparently David Morris. But I can't find. Oh, apparently David Morris was in Jonathan Creek.
Yeah,
And the one in the Mel Stewart one was David Kelly. Oh, he was apparently also in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
And he was in Mean Machine, which I'm surprised Pat hasn't picked yet.
It'll happen eventually.
A lot of these picks are like, well, a lot of future picks are like, it really depends on what you guys want to do. I feel like I'm quite happy of like my sort of like scorings and like choices for this year. And next year, what that means is I can choose other films. And like, yeah, I'm gonna go for like a speed run for like weird films or other films.
Speed run for weird films.
Well, not okay. I have an idea for my like choices for like other films, but like that. Well, I guess that's not. Well, that's not now thing is going to talk about. It's about. I guess. Is there any more like comments about this film? Because I feel like because we've started like we've kind of like hit steam and like I'm kind of sleepy and tired. I still need to do some fucking paperwork. A lot of fucking paperwork still. And
oh man, you're still working.
While I've got you here, I'm sorry for my lateness. I had a terrible time with my laptop.
It's fine.
What's going on?
So like, obviously I don't use it much during the week, so I basically just turn it on before the call. So I think I'm gonna have to start turning it on for like an hour before the call now to sort of warm it up. But I got onto Facebook to click the link and it froze. So I was like, oh, I'll just restart it. And then it took ages to restart. And then when I finally got into the chat, the camera wouldn't work because my laptop decided to open up Skype twice, and the one I was on disabled the camera.
Oh, right.
Okay.
That's annoying, man.
Yeah, there's some tough stuff to go through. No, I get it. I absolutely get it. So,
put it this way: when I turned on my laptop, I started a game of Madden, and I finished it by the time I got into the chat, and I played the full 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Madness. All right. So, was there any final thoughts on this film?
I'd say my favourite scene, which I haven't done yet.
Okay, go.
Very good.
You didn't expect that, did you?
Yeah, I was like holding out, but like
I'll be honest. My favourite scene was when Veruca went down the fucking trash shaft.
yeah,
The trash.
but she was
I was like,
yeah,
finally, I'm rid of this bitch.
good. I see. Yeah, as the character says, she was a bad egg.
A very bad egg.
Yeah, it's.
It took me a while to get that one, unfortunately.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I was so glad she was gone. I missed the joke until after the film, and then I went, wait, she was a bad egg, so she went down the bad egg chute.
Oh, dude.
And my wife was just like, "Oh, it's okay, baby." I was just so glad she was gone. I was like, "Cool, next."
No, I just thinking because it's the same thing with like the bad nut scene, like during like the remake and the Tim Burton one. I was like, it doesn't the joke doesn't sound the same, I guess. And I feel like it, and afterwards you see her survive in the Tim Burton film, like with everyone else. It's like, oh right, look, they all survived, yay! I guess. They all got out in time. It's like too easy for them. But yeah, that is a good scene to like because I feel like you would definitely like the scene. Yay, violence to people who deserve this violence. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. And now we come to a close on this chapter of Roald Dahl until next time when Ben picks another film that is probably one of his films. Or well, which is again, I feel like I didn't know, Ben, if this was actually a film that you wanted to choose or not, but I am glad I chose it first.
It probably would have been eventually, but it wouldn't have been a while until I got around to this. So you picked it before I had the chance, and I'm glad you did.
That's kind of where I was on it as well, to be honest, because a little while ago I was thinking, oh, it would be a really interesting pick, but I haven't seen it in so long that, like we said earlier, I didn't know if it was going to be another Goonies situation where you sort of love it as a kid and then you watch it as an adult and go, I don't know, that's a bit overwhelming.
Oh man, I hate that film as well.
Oh, the Goonies is such a weird one though, because like as a kid I was like, yeah, this is the best film ever, but then as an adult I'm like, this is just kids screaming. This is too much. But
I think when
but
you work
yeah,
in retail, some of these films are like, bah!
yeah, fair enough. But no, I do. Yeah, I think this one really held up, and I'm really glad you picked it, Simon, because I spent most of it with a smile on my face. I really enjoyed this one.
Yes, power of nostalgia wins. Yes. Okay.
Speaking of which, Rob, what you picking?
I've got two choices actually, and I'm kind of gonna
You're
leave
only
it.
allowed one.
Flip a coin.
I'm gonna ask you because one of them is, well, they're both films that I hope you will like, but one of them's 2.5 hours and the other's an hour and a half. Which would you prefer I pick?
Preferably the hour and a half one because I'm limited on time at the minute.
All right, fair enough.
You are probably the most boastiest person in this chat, apparently. I can imagine.
But this is
I'm working 75 hours a week.
Yeah, but Pat,
if you include breaks.
Rob's going to pick a Lars von Trier film. What do you say about that? And that's the short one.
Then I am going on a sabbatical.
Nice.
Well, I've got good news. You don't have to go on a sabbatical. So, right, if we're going for the hour and a half one, then that means that I'm finally making Martin Scorsese a recurring director. And my pick is my favourite Martin Scorsese film. I don't think it's his best film, but it's my favourite of his. It's After Hours.
Oh, nice! Finally,
Oh, after.
I'm finally doing it.
I realised I just pulled a Chris Pratt face.
But I think it's on Amazon now. Let me just double check because it wasn't before.
Oh, I hope it is, because if it isn't, you've got another backup. Will your second film be picked next or in the future?
I'm hoping to do it the round after next because my next one is going to be my favourite film of 2023.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, let me just double check where it is. Yeah, it's on Amazon. Oh no, shit, that's in America. Oh no.
Oh no.
Is this UK?
Yeah,
cool. It's on Amazon in the UK as well. That's
Okay.
fine. It's also on Apple TV for those who prefer that.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Apple
Yeah,
TV.
I've been wanting to pick this since we very first started, and this was the one that I said that's finally on streaming because the reason I didn't pick it before was that it was only in standard definition, which I think like the editing is so good that I didn't want it to look shit. But now it's been remastered and it's up on HD as well.
It took them to remaster.
Say that again, Emmanuel?
I said, man, it took them that long to remaster.
Yeah, the reason that it's only just gone up in HD is because it got picked up by the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, I was just looking at the 4K.
Yeah, I think I might buy that this week because I've only got it on DVD at the moment.
I've got a version of it, but I think it's like the Spanish version.
Spanish.
Yeah, that's the version that I've got
Yeah.
currently, but I'm going to upgrade to the Criterion Collection one.
Let me find mine.
But you speak Spanish, Pat. I am so confused.
No, it doesn't.
¿Cómo es español?
Yeah, ¿qué?
No español.
Oh.
Siento.
This is when Pat's Blu-rays will just collapse or whatever.
Oh, I saw that.
So if Spanish is or is it just Spanish?
Don't know if you can see it properly. But there we go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that also makes Griffin Dunn a recurring actor.
In answer to your question, Emmanuel, no, I don't speak Spanish, but it is in English language on this Blu-ray.
Okay. I was just like, wait, is the Spanish version?
You'd be shocked if I spoke fluent Spanish, wouldn't you?
I mean, it'd be very cool. It'd be like, oh, nice.
I used to be semi-fluent in French. I'm sure everyone's heard the story, though.
Wait, what's the story?
Year 7 and 8, I fancied my French teacher, and I learned everything she taught me. She left to go back to Paris, and I flunked the rest of it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but like there was.
It's a funny story.
I don't know if that was supposed to be cute or funny. I don't know. It's always kind of funny.
It's very cringe.
Yeah, but your early kids.
A 12, 13-year-old fancying a 30-year-old woman, like it's very.
Yeah,
cringe.
but all teenagers are kind of cringe, man. It's kind of like the point, but like that was funny. It was a bit more cute than cringy.
Hey, Mom, innit?
I was distraught when she said she was leaving. That's even cringy.
That's great.
Great, absolutely great.
I've never loved since.
Oh, all right. Listen. Oh, okay. On that sad note. All right. So yeah. So After Hours on Amazon. Okay. I'll plug that in now. I'll watch it within and watch it sometime soon.
I found out where my suitcase ended up. It was next door.
Next door.
You what was next door?
I ordered a suitcase for going to America in a few weeks.
Oh, right.
Amazon said it was delivered, but my mum said there was nothing here. I was like, what the fuck? Why are they saying they've delivered it and it's not there? and I had to get the tracking number and go onto DPD's website. Me saying DPD, you kind of understand that they probably fucked up somewhere.
Mm.
And I've gone on there and it's showing a picture of the delivery driver handing it to someone, but the door is basically reverse of mine. So you have the white door and then you have like an electric box to the right, which is opposite to the way mine is. But it ended up being next door. So I sent my brother in to get it on my way home. So it's all right. I had to cancel my refund request.
To be fair, if you got it from Amazon, they'll probably still honour it anyway.
It's from a seller.
Oh right, okay.
So I was like, it's sorted out. But I've put in a bad review with DPD because I'm like, fair enough. If no one was in, that's fine. But at least leave some form of note so someone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Instead of saying, oh yeah, we delivered it.
Yeah.
Go on.
To back up what you were saying, Pat, I had a similar but worse experience where it was an Amazon one, and they delivered it. They said they delivered it, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't with neighbors. It wasn't with anyone in my building. And I was like, look, I've already looked. I waited days, like they said, because they said maybe someone marked it delivered too early. Just wait a few days, and I did that. And then I was like, it still ain't here. And so I was just like, okay, cool. You give me the refund request. And just as I was doing that, there's like a nearby block of flats, and I
Yeah.
was going past, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just go in. They've left the door open. Let me just check. And I was gonna go like to check the different doors and whatnot. They left. They delivered it to the same number flat as mine, but in a different building. That person opened the box, but obviously went like, this ain't ours, and left it the boxes. So I got it. I was like, oh, great, because I don't have access to that building usually. So it's like, how the
Yeah.
would have gotten that? They don't know me, and they weren't nice enough to go, oh, let me bring this to the other building. So I was just like, nah, I still want my refund. I don't care.
They'd be like, oh, this ain't mine. It can stay outside.
Like, what? Anyway, but yeah, some
Yeah.
people. I mean, Ben has plenty of stories of delivery people.
Yeah, it's hard to say which courier service is the worst these days.
Oh, Yodel's definitely the worst.
Yodel.
Yeah.
Oh, they changed their name to something.
No, that you're thinking of Every.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That
Yeah,
was
they're
Hermes.
just
They're
as
pretty
bad.
bad. Yeah.
Every is
Fucking
compared
Hermes.
to Yodel is like every is definitely better than Yodel, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Because like every at least I can get a refund ticket for it, and it's like, wait, where's my shit? Give me the ticket so I can actually go complain. And they're like, here you go. And it's like, okay, fine, that's fine. Like I can, if I can actually get my money back or refund my stuff back, every is better than Yoda, where it's like throw my shit away. Where the fuck is it? It's in the bins. You didn't leave any signs it'll be in the bins.
I told Ben about this, where they have a reputation of throwing things like trampolines over customers' fences, and then we're having to deal like with returns, trampolines soaking wet because it's been out in the rain, and the box is absolutely battered. It's they're such a bad company, but I think it's more to do with the shareholders wanting you to get so many delivered in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So the drivers or the delivery drivers are like, right, present for you, present for you, present for you.
Yeah, but that's why Amazon has like people who are like really random delivering your shit. I've had Amazon. I've had someone like parking like on my front, like deliver on Amazon packages. I look at the car. It's a car, right? It's just a normal person's car, but it's just like, wait, why are you delivering Amazon? What the fuck? I just got so confused because it's not like an Amazon people. It's just like Amazon is just like
Yeah,
outsourcing their
third-parties.
delivery drivers now, and it's like, okay, I guess that's good for you. Good for me as well because I got my shit faster. But like, weird, just weird.